Welcome to Blynd Submyshynz, where DIY bands submit songs for us to listen to and react to blind. Every week, we'll bring a guest from the underground music, arts, or entertainment scene to help you sort through mountains of new music. We go in blind so you don't have to. Blynd Submyshynz.
Blynd Submyshynz.
Hey everybody, happy shit, almost Christmas time, huh? Welcome to today's episode of... You got something prepped?
Blynd Submyshynz, Blynd Submyshynz, Blynd Subs all the way.
Are you trying to...
It's all I could come up with off the top of my head.
Trying to improvise a holiday song?
I was thinking how I couldn't think of any good holiday songs.
Yeah, A for effort on that one. I'll definitely give you
Sweet.
big fat A for effort.
Yes, welcome back.
What's up, man? How's it going?
What is today? It's almost Christmas.
Yeah, it's the 21st, I think. The
Uh-huh.
21st. It's actually the 20th.
I think it's the 20th.
Yeah.
5 days. Holy shit. What's on your wish list?
Are you ready? Ooh, what's on my wish list? Just a Squire Bass 6.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Formally entered on my wish list, yeah. In fact, it is. Laura was so stoked that I actually want something for Christmas that I didn't already buy.
That you didn't already own?
Or buy for myself.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
I buy everything for myself and then I wrap it and put it under the tree.
Oh, see, we usually do that, but I feel kind of shitty doing that. And Laura was like, and I was like, no, I'm gonna get you stuff. You get me stuff. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy socks for myself and wrap them like a jackass.
Oh, well, there's definitely plenty of other stuff.
Oh, I know.
That is, yeah. But yeah, I might as well buy my own socks and my own underwear, right?
You might
I only do
as
it
well.
once a year, so.
as long as you change them more often than that.
I've seen a funny meme going around about, it's like a guy with a pair of holy underwear and socks that have almost no bottoms.
Yes.
And it says, Christmas is coming. It's almost time to replenish.
Oh, God. All right. So, hey, thanks everybody who's been listening lately. And we got some cool episodes coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Besides today's guest, we got some good stuff in the hopper.
Gonna be cool.
Today's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Because we're going to answer the age-old question.
Of what?
Does it doom?
I don't know.
So today we have Steve Reis, who runs a very popular YouTube channel called Does It Doom? That's, a little bit of tone breakdowns, song playthroughs and breakdowns, gear reviews. So basically just trying to help people interested in kind of low-tuned, heavy music figure out how to get the sounds, roughly that some of their favorite bands get.
That's awesome.
And when
he
I was...
also makes and sells stuff too, right?
He does.
I don't know if he makes it himself, but he has like branded.
We'll ask him. Yeah, he's got guitars, pedals. He's got a pedal board. So, but one thing that jumped out at me right away, because he was just on, he would have been 2 episodes ago, on the front of his YouTube page is his review of the...
That's right. Yeah, let's watch some ads.
Oh, Johnny Depp. It's a fucking Dior perfume ad with Johnny Depp playing guitar.
Playing guitar.
Go to hell, buddy.
Yep.
Today we're checking out the Frost Giant Electronics Architect of Reality, a brand new
That name sounds familiar.
They've just released based on the classic Laney AOR Pro Tube lead amplifier. One of my favorite amps, an amp you've seen me use many times on this channel. And of course, if you've ever watched the Sleep Dragonaut video, you'll have noticed it is the amplifier that Matt used during the Holy Mountain era. We're going to check this thing out. It is amazing.
Boom. So, ladies and gentlemen, boom.
Welcome, Steve.
That's called hitting the post if you're in radio.
You know what it's called?
Well, hitting the post in radio. Oh, there he is. We'll wait till he connects because he'll come in the middle of one of my weird stories. Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Hello.
Hey guys.
We were just previewing a little bit of your video for the Laney AOR because we just the Architect of Reality pedal because we just had Eric from Frost Giant on last week. So
Yes, that pedal is amazing.
yeah, he did a really crazy job, and I hadn't watched this video yet, so I scooted forward to the part where he actually started playing and listened to the different tones for Dragonaut, and goddamn, it's so close. I mean, part of that
really is.
you knowing how to play it right.
Yeah.
You know, tones in the fingers. But man, the pedal didn't hurt.
No, I mean, I've had one of those AOR 100 amps for a long time, and I think instantly with that pedal, you could just hear that Holy Mountain tone. I mean, it's there. You know, I mess with the settings throughout that demo, and just at certain times, in certain configurations, it's right there for sure.
Yeah, wow, it's pretty crazy. If you haven't watched the video, like AB, the original Sleep Dragonaut video, and this review, and you'll be able to hear, you know, how close it is, especially for just reproducing it in a pedal, which is doable with all those old solid state amps, but still impressive to pull off.
Yeah, the guys did a great job for sure.
So we gave kind of a quick introduction to kind of what I know of you, since you appeared as the Does It Doom guy, doing YouTube videos of song playthroughs, kind of how did we get the tone, gear playthroughs. But how did you get started kind of on the media part, the YouTube side of it, and then maybe go back and tell us how you got into music in general in the first place?
Yeah, on the YouTube side of it, I just had been running an Instagram page for a little bit and decided that I was going to start focusing it in on doom metal, I guess. And decided, I guess I was trying to figure out a way that I could grow something that would be meaningful and valuable to people. And the doom thing had been a genre of metal that I'd been really into for many years, probably since about 2002 was when I started listening to doom metal, I guess. And I just decided that the scene had gotten bigger. There was a lot of people that were really into a lot of the bands like Sleep and Electric Wizard and whatnot. And I would just start teaching. I was just going to start teaching lessons in like a well-produced format, I guess, was what I had in mind. And went from there, just started to teach a few songs, started in on some Sleep songs, because that was the band that really stood out to me. Like, hey, Sleep's gotten pretty huge here. There's nobody teaching any of this stuff. Like, there's no way to learn it. It's very mysterious. If there's tabs online, they're in the wrong tuning, or they're just played totally wrong. So I go and I study all sorts of live footage and try and get the songs as accurate as possible, and just started to teach lessons in that format for free on YouTube, expecting people that kind of hate it or balk at it or whatever, just expecting a bunch of negativity. And really I got the complete opposite. And it was just a lot of encouragement and people saying, keep going, teach more, do Electric Wizard, do High on Fire, do Windhand and Conan and everything. And so it just spiraled from there. And then I started to get into gear demos because people, again, at the time, at least someone talking face to camera, doing gear demos focused in on a doom style guitar sound was pretty rare. There were some people that were doing just demos on the floor, like no talking or anything, but nobody really getting on camera and talking about everything and really niching down into this style of metal for demos. And so I started to do that, and then eventually, it's just become much bigger than that, and we've got a big membership community on Patreon, and then we started to produce our own pedals, and I got into doing guitars this past year, and we do pedal boards and everything. So it's been I could never have pictured it becoming what it has become. When did you
launch the channel?
So the channel, the first videos ever were probably in 2015, but they're not really doom focused at all. They're just I was just doing some random gear demos and stuff. And then around 2017 is when I started to teach those Sleep lessons.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking it was like 2017, 2018. And I want to pause you real quick to make sure you are recording on your end and that your voice sounds good on your end, because we're getting like a little noise on your voice on this side. So if you're getting a clean recording of it, then we're good.
Yeah, it seems like a clean recording.
Okay, cool.
But I thought I was hearing some kind of echo too. Is it like an echo or just
like a static?
It's like a static. Yeah, it's weird. It's probably Zoom is like great. It's been great for all of this stuff, but it is not. It is an imperfect tool for sure. So if you're going through an interface into a DAW with that mic, then you're fine.
I am.
Cool.
I just hope it comes through and doesn't fail, because this, I'm using Audacity here, and sometimes it has failed me at the end of long recordings. So
the Zoom track would be workable too. So we'll be good.
Okay.
So that's cool. Yeah. I mean, and it's like, on the one hand, you look at a song like Dragonaut and you go, well, why does anybody need to teach anyone how to play? That's pretty simple, right? It's not that hard to figure out. But if you've studied Matt's playing, and a lot of the playing in these bands, there's a lot of layers to it, and there's a lot of nuance to exactly what both hands are doing, and then obviously all the gear and you know, the dials and stuff where everything is set at, that it can be complicated. And I know from hunting for pedals online that when I find a pedal demo, they're very rarely going to do to the pedal what I'm going to do to it, you know, in terms of the settings they're going to use or how, you know, what it's going to sound like. That it absolutely makes sense that this sort of caught on. How'd you get into playing music in the first place?
Just as I think like in 8th grade or something, I just fell in love with Nirvana and decided I wanted to play guitar, you know, and then put it down for a few years and whatever. I didn't, the teacher I had, I just didn't jive with or whatever, and just stopped playing, and then got really into punk and the Misfits. And for whatever reason, me and my buddies were all into like Danzig and Misfits, Sam Hain, and then
because they're great,
Black Flag. And, you know, I mean, and so we decided we wanted to like be a punk band, you know, and started doing that stuff. And then along the way, just discovered Black Sabbath, and that kind of changed everything for me, and focused in on
it's always where
becoming
it starts, right?
A student of Tony's playing, and I've just been a huge fan of his ever since. And then that kind of led me into the sludge, and which led to the doom and
the family tree.
Yeah.
We are in the tree that goes back to Tony for sure.
Yeah, always.
That's awesome.
It's that like full chord vibrato and a lot of the sliding stuff that he started with, that nobody was really doing or not doing in the same way before him.
Yes,
and
the chord vibrato and stuff goes right back to him. Like, I don't think there's anybody doing that sort. Like, it's so common now. Everybody's gonna grab that Root 5 chord and just throw a bunch of vibrato on it. But I don't think anybody was doing it before he was.
Yeah, and then Matt layers in like the long slides and all the 12th fret stuff, and I got a good my guitar player Carl and Matt were friends. And Carl was in the original rehearsals for what became High on Fire as a second guitar player, and you know, so he was there for the beginning of all that, like, you know, throwing ideas back and forth, and the sort of creation of that style, which Matt has just like perfected. You know, Carl kind of went off in a different direction, and Matt kind of just honed that, you know, what the seeds of what were there in the beginning, and it's now just like. When we'll listen to music in a little bit, and like every 3 episodes we get just like a High on Fire worship band, and you can just hear like all of the hallmark things that they take from. But it's cool that you're out there helping people who can't figure out how to get there on their own to get there.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's been hugely influential, and I do think you see that more over the last 5 or 10 years, like just bands that are trying to do that High on Fire thing, that when those first couple High on Fire records came out, and I still think they stand alone. Like, there's nothing quite like it. No. And he said it himself, it was like leftover, especially The Art of Self-Defense, like leftover sleep riffs and stuff. They were going to play, or riffs he had kind of sorted out for sleep and then just sped them up. And so it's these like really cool stoner doom, but fast, but not like they hadn't really gone in the thrashy quite direction that they would
eventually get to.
But yeah, those, I mean, that stuff is so unique and just crafted out of, I mean, just again, just I feel like a step for the genre.
Well, and like Billy told the story when we had him on, basically of like the level of frustration that Matt was feeling just at the world in general at that exact transition period because of all the shit that went down with you know, with Dope Smoker not being released the way they recorded it. And he was just fucking pissed off. And it was like, he's just like, I just want to play angry, you know? And
play harder,
but
faster,
you forget
angrier.
that first record, especially how many songs are much lower tempo than, you know, what's, you know, from say Devolution on. There's been like the Lemmy switch got flipped, but before that it wasn't all like that.
The Lemmy switch.
I agree. I totally agree. I feel like Death Is This Communion, all the way kind of up till Death Is This Communion, they're almost got a in between on tempo, like you're saying. It's not quite, and especially the first 2 records and the production. I love the Billy Anderson production on those records. I just think they're, I don't know. Like I said, they're 2 of my, like, if I have to put records on a pedestal, those are the ones. There. Yeah, I mean. And speaking of Matt's playing, just to plug it, like he's got a Patreon and he's been teaching songs on there. It is fucking awesome.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
So, it's funny, it's entertaining. It's like, you know, it's fun to watch. But just the way the the production. It's funny, it's fun, but he like teaches shit. I think it's really cool to see someone of that ability and kind of you know, his overall influence, just being willing to sit down and do those things. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had his wife Alyssa on at the very beginning of this, kind of as they were pulling that together, and it was just born out of like, fuck, man, I'm stuck in this house with Matt, and he's a lunatic. Like, we need to point him in some direction, you know, give
something productive,
give him something productive to do. And she's doing a lot of the production work. So
sure,
she did a crash course in production, and yeah, it's a blast, man. It's such a fun thing, and it's so cool that at this level, you know, those guys have a Grammy, but like Jeff teaches bass lessons on Zoom. If you want to learn directly from him, you can.
So
you know, like they're so accessible. And I've said this before. It was shocking to me when I reached out to Billy and sent him demos and said, "Hey, are you down? You know, what's your pricing?" And he sent it back, and I was like, "Well, fuck." Like I can afford that.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
That's not what I was expecting.
I was not really expecting that. So
Right.
It's cool that these and you know, even for the podcast, just reaching out to people cold, to Christian from Horrors, and he's like, sure, yeah, I'll do it, and spent 2 hours talking to us for, you know, we had no reason to do that ahead of time. He just likes talking about music, so
that's cool.
People like talking about music.
Apparently.
Earlier when you were talking about how sort of Does It Doom started, you kept saying we. So is there more than just you? Do you have like production people that help? How does that work?
Well, now there's more than we, because we've built out all these, or more than me, I've built out this kind of business. And where we're building pedals, and we've got actually a fairly sizable team of people doing all of that. Like it's probably about 5 or 6 of us. But originally, when it was just the lessons and stuff, it was just me.
Yeah,
and I just did everything.
Oh wow! So you're building the pedals as well.
I don't build them myself. So we have like my best friend and I started the pedal board side of the company, which then became the pedals, and then we brought on additional people to help with assembly. So I handle a lot of the design phase, and I'm not the primary designer either. I kind of come up with the idea, and we were working with Nick Williams who was originally in Dunwich Amplification. I don't know if you've heard of Dunwich, but Nick's incredible. Like, I mean, he's a PhD in electrical engineering, so he's been kind of taken over our lead circuit design, and I'm a mechanical engineer as well. And then my best buddy's also a mechanical engineer, and then we've got another electrical engineer who helps further with design. And so, yeah, and another one. I mean, these are guys I've known a long, long time, and so it's really come together awesome over the past year.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That is so. These aren't. I mean, these are like, you guys are making these pedals. These are not. You're not like just branding
rebranding.
Them. Yeah. That's awesome.
No, they are definitely being built from the ground
up.
That
is awesome.
So is this your whole business now, or do you still have a side gig?
No, I still have a full-time job as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
A couple kids under 4, a full-time job.
Under 4?
Oh, shit. I was going to go. He definitely doesn't have kids then. You got little kids?
Man. Giddy up.
Wow. Oh, shit.
I'm like rolling up my sleeves as we go. Yeah, it's intense. I won't lie.
Wow.
It's a lot, but I love it. So it's just worth it. I don't want to do
what you
else.
love. You never work a day in your
bullshit.
life.
That's bullshit. That's why I'm 3 videos back editing for YouTube.
Oh my. Editing's painful.
Yeah, especially when it's not like your primary skill.
Yeah.
Like, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
Your editing's great though.
Yeah.
I used Shotcut because it was free, and I just, started at 0 and knew nothing, and just have a little template and tried to learn my way through it.
Yeah, and it's certainly a theme in all the whatever 65 interviews we've done, is like people just rolling up their sleeves and figuring out how to do shit to push the primary goal forward. Yeah. You end up having to learn how to do a bunch of other stuff that you never intended, and it ends up being cool though.
DIY music is more than just like booking shows and putting out your own album. It's like figuring out all this other shit. Yeah, it's all
especially
DIY.
Now, right? I mean, especially now, if you're not on it, I mean, like making videos, and I just don't see how you can't.
Yeah, you have to be that like 1 in a million band that is so fucking good, like so undeniable, that it wouldn't matter what was happening around you. You were just guaranteed to take off you know, word of mouth without having to do any work on your own. But that doesn't happen very often.
Even then, it still feels like it's a YouTube video that launches that type of thing.
Yeah, but it's somebody's camera from the crowd, not your videographer who's out there. You know what I mean? If there's people hype about what you're doing, they're going to film you and post stuff up.
That's true.
But you see these guys who are, you know, I've seen it time and time again, guys in local bands who are willing to create a YouTube channel and do gear demos and kind of stretch out from just okay, we're in a band, we write songs, and and stretch out a little bit. And you watch some of these guys who've done demos and made demo channels, and to me, it's no coincidence that they start to garner a bit of a following because all the musicians gravitate towards it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, here, I'll share my screen real quick. This is like out of the blue, but it was interesting to me. And so here's a guy. So I open up Bandcamp today, right? And on the right, I go, hey, I recognize that face. That's Bryce from Silver Talon. Bryce Van Hoosen, yeah. Oh. So Bryce has do you know who Silver Talon is, or have you ever seen his videos?
Didn't they change their name?
No, that was the other one.
That was the other one.
Yeah, no, he is an epic fucking shredder of a guitar player, like undeniable. And he does demo videos or playthroughs of the Silver Talon solos. Silver Talon's like classic heavy metal, and twin leads and Yngwie shit all over the place. And his videos are huge. And it's just like, yeah, of course, figure out how to operate a camera and record some videos, and then you'll be on the front page of Bandcamp one day.
It's unreal.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool to see that. And then as I was flipping, I then see where were we here?
What else did you see, Jeff?
Well, the best metal. I was looking through Bandcamp articles today for tonight's episode. The best metal on Bandcamp, November 2021. You don't have to scroll down very far until you get to Dogma, which was the band that we had on like two episodes ago.
Yep, Dogma from Oakland.
Yeah,
that's a great album too.
Yeah, it is a fucking killer album. So, yeah, definitely. That's been kind of a mantra here. Is like, if you're in a band, figure out who can do what, and if you don't have people who can do what, fucking get them to learn.
Yeah,
make sure you have a graphic designer, someone who can deal with PR,
video,
someone who's good at connecting with people for booking shows and connecting people together. Yeah, someone who can edit videos. Like, those are all essential skills if you actually.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
And do it before you have kids.
Yeah. Yes. So you're not also in a band, are you?
No, not at the moment at all. People ask me that.
That's one too many things.
I'd mail you a crown.
I couldn't do it. I think there's no way I could do it. I mean, you guys know how much effort it takes to do that and do it well and do it right, and it's not. There's just no way I could do anything else.
Yeah. No. Oh, I took a 10-year band hiatus when my kids were little. All I could handle was a job.
Yeah.
I didn't have it in me, but I'm over the hump. I'm over the hump, like hours wise, with the kids now. So that's why. That's why we're doing all this shit. Still never see my wife.
Yeah.
No. Actually, when you work from home, you see your wife constantly.
And I work from home, so my full-time job is from home, so I'm always home.
Oh, that's cool. Where are you at? I assume
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I heard an accent. I was trying to.
Well, I'm from Canada actually, but I've been down here a long time. So
what part?
I'm from. I grew up in Windsor, Ontario. Near Detroit. My family's mostly from Toronto.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
But I've been here a long time, since 07 or so.
Like dragged down here for a job.
Yeah. I moved down to go to work.
Yeah.
Stealing those Canadian engineers.
That's great. I went up there. I lived in Vancouver for 6 years.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
I've been all over this country, but nowhere up in Canada. Just like in my little part of southern Ontario. And then I left when I was like 23 or something, and I've just not seen anything. I would love to go to Vancouver.
Canada's big.
Yeah, it's an enormous country, man.
Enormous.
It's daunting.
I mean, most of the people are in this section. But, there's not much above.
I've never toured Canada, but man, that some of the most harrowing tour stories I've ever heard were bands touring Canada in the winter.
Yeah.
And just we have 16 hours to drive until the next show, and there's 40 feet of snow we got to get through. It's like, well, maybe that's a summertime gig.
That's rough. It is rough. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And that's really funny. You're the third person I've talked to today from North Carolina.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. The other two were people I work with. But you know, they didn't know each other, and it's
a good place.
And all different places too.
Yeah, it's not that unusual. We're in the Bay Area, so obviously in Tech Central, in that Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle Park, there was kind of a hub of technology companies and a wave of people that moved out there. So there's a lot of tech, and that's what we both do. So we end up knowing people out there.
Yeah, definitely a lot in North Carolina. One of my favorite bands ever is from North Carolina.
Who's that?
Are you an Avett Brothers fan?
No.
By chance? No.
Avett Brothers?
No.
No.
A lot of people don't know the Avett Brothers. Actually, a lot of people do know the Avett Brothers. They always sell out the Greek.
Yeah, I just put them in that like hey ho category.
They're definitely not hey ho.
Okay.
I'm thinking like I was like Weed Eater, Buzz Oven, CRC. Those are the bands I usually hear about from North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I had a long. I had an hour.
Really South Carolina.
Toke is North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah. I had an hour-long conversation with Dixie at Psycho about fishing spots in North Carolina.
It's gonna take you fishing?
I guess.
You missed out on that one, I guess. Damn.
I'll do it if I ever get over there again. Fuck yeah. He won't remember the conversation. There's no doubt about that. But
I wonder how much he does remember.
Fuck. I've just never seen a human being consume alcohol like that and be so coherent.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
Like
that's crazy.
I mean, it's probably not a good thing, I'm guessing. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's for show. Like maybe he's got bottles of iced Jack, know,
it's like root beer.
Iced tea or root beer or something.
Or iced tea. It's not even Jack.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ask him. So when was the last time you've been in like serious bands before, like touring and
not super serious. Not touring. I was in a band here in North Carolina. I've done as a kid, but I basically played in high school and stuff. Went to school, got done with school. I had quit playing for a while, and then just started playing again, and then had been playing like 6 years or something when I decided to start doing this.
Oh, that's cool. So isn't it fun? Isn't it fun when you were a teenager and you like scratched and clawed to buy the shittiest equipment you could, and then you grow up and you go to college and you get a good job, and then you're like, I'll take that piece of gear. As I look behind you at the fucking desert island equipment.
Yeah, it's been fun, but then you kind of try it all and you're just like, I don't know, it's still in the hands, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That equipment didn't make any difference at all.
Yeah.
But it's also that thing, it's like, there's that saying of like, you're young and you have all the energy, but you have no money. And then you get a little older and you have money because you have a job, but then you have no time. Yeah. And then you get even older and you have the time, but you don't have the energy because you're too old.
That's very true.
That's what caffeine and Alpha Brain is for.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're making it work. I mean, I think of I just made you all crazy on the screen. Don't mind us here. I think about what my mom and dad were like when they were the age I currently am. And to me, they might as well have been like great grandparents already.
Been like 70.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think we are all staying younger. It feels like. I don't know. Trying at least, yeah.
At least in the metal community.
My hair though, is a little bit gray for someone so young.
A little bit. No.
You got that Troy Saunders lookalike thing.
That's what they say. That's what I hear. I get that and Saruman basically on the daily.
Saruman. Well, at least you have some.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you have a lot of it.
Yeah, you're looking at a couple of hair challenged people here.
Follicularly challenged.
I don't think that'll be on my. I started going gray when I was in high school, but
Oh, dude!
Holy cow!
So you might actually be able to like compete with Greg Wilkinson. He's a producer in Oakland, runs a studio called Earhammer. Does a lot of like extreme sort of death metal,
brain oil,
like neck rot, brain oil.
Uh-huh.
He's in
brain oil.
He has the most luxurious mane of silver hair on planet fucking Earth. And every time I see him on stage, I'm just like, fuck, man.
It looks a lot like yours, except it's longer and it's like fluffy.
It's
like
he
looks
wavy.
Like he conditions the shit out of it. I mean, it is gorgeous.
It's got a deep wave too.
Deep wave.
I just remember they opened for High on Fire at the Ritz the first time we saw them there, like 6 years ago. Yeah. And I just was like, had like heart eyes, just staring at his beautiful. Because when you are in a band and you can't have long hair anymore, it's just like, oh, I felt sad, but also happy for him that he still has it. It's great. It's beautiful.
Well, people
hair.
thought I was bald for a long time too. I mean, I used to wear a hat, and I hadn't grown my hair out since I was, I don't know, in like 15 years or something. And last time I had long hair, it was brown. And so I always wore a hat. And then when COVID started, I just didn't get a haircut. And I still haven't, actually, since like, probably February or March of that year when COVID started. So I just kind of let it go, and it's been fun.
So this is like a year and a half, huh?
Yeah.
Intense.
It's real short.
I thought,
looking good.
See, I thought about
is that Pantene.
Yeah, I get the Pantene Pro V comments all the time.
Taking your hair vitamins.
Yeah.
I thought about doing it, but I did it once before, like 4 years ago, and it just is ultimately just a exercise in disappointment. Or just look at it's just the top of my head. Like the sides, I could have a beautiful. So then I'm gonna look like the guy from Rocky Horror, or like Devin, or like Devin Townsend. And there's nothing good about that. So
he's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I ended up getting my brother's got one of these, and I got him like this kit for beard care.
Nice.
But there was one of the options was like a beard growth kit, and there's like vitamins and like these little massage rollers that are supposed to stimulate your hair growth.
But he's got a huge beard already, right? He's good to go.
Yeah. No, that's for me.
But I just can't imagine anybody like actually like, I want a beard, but I might need to get some vitamins and maybe massage it a lot.
I think
me.
Yeah, if you can't if you can't grow a thick beard, you can get tricked into these ideas that you can
I just wonder if those things work, right?
No, definitely not.
Exactly.
No fucking
not
way.
No, it's like the pills you're supposed to be able to take that'll give you a six pack. It's gonna burn fat.
No, not happening.
I mean, I looked at the actual like hair loss medications. And I guess I'm not vain enough, because when they get into like the details of how it's going to fuck your hormones and stuff, I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'll survive with no hair.
And you
maybe that stuff can work.
Yeah.
Maybe that stuff can work at the expense of your hormones, but no oils on your face are going to make your shit grow.
Well, maybe there's a point in life where you're like, well, I'm done making babies. I don't need.
I know.
Give it a go.
It does blow me away though, the whole like beauty industry. Anytime I walk into like a Sephora or whatever, Ulta Beauty, I just think like half of our world has like 10,000 products they have to deal with that I don't have. Like, I mean, they don't have to, they choose to, but still, it's like a bar of soap. That's my routine. For one bar of soap does everything. Yeah. And then there's this like potions and oils and of all sorts, and I'm not sure what any of it's actually doing.
I do have some beard balms, I gotta admit, and beard, but I don't use them a ton, but I do have them.
Well, sometimes you gotta tame it, right?
This is like the shortest I've been. Well, other than when I shaved for a long time.
Don't ever do that again.
I shaved my beard for the first time in probably 13 years.
Oh wow!
My youngest daughter wanted it for her birthday.
That was her birthday request.
That was her birthday request. So I did it, and it was fucking weird. It was so
How long
weird.
was your beard when you shaved it?
At the time, no, I mean, it was longer than it was probably
a couple inches.
I don't know, it was a couple inches.
Yeah, 2 inches.
I mean, that was a good.
But still, 12 or 13 years. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah,
I'd never seen him without a beard. I didn't know who it was.
Yeah,
really?
I didn't even. Oh, it was
like,
weird.
What the?
That's right. Oh yeah, I answered the door. You came over.
They dragged me out of the car and they said, "You have to see what this looks like. Like what hath we wrought?"
And I think you just said, "What the fuck?"
I think that is what I said. Yeah. Awesome.
Do we have music?
Yeah. We should listen to some music. The only
it.
other thing I was going to ask you about is I saw there's a guitar on the site now too. So what's this? I love guitars and guitar building. So what's the scoop with that?
Yeah. So I was approached by Woodbine Guitars, who are actually in Kamloops, BC, about a year ago or so, asking if I wanted to be involved with this project of essentially converting their designs to doing an import series, a Korean import series of their guitars, and just being involved in the project as kind of a partner. And so I was like, fuck yeah. I had helped him. Basically, I have this collection of those first act style double cut guitars that Pike played, the 9-string, and Brent played one, and Bill and Mastodon. And so I collected them over the years, and they're super rare and whatnot. And so I helped him recreate that design.
Oh, wow.
I took a bunch of measurements and sent them to him, and he created it for his custom shop, and then asked if I wanted to do the import line. So we did it. We called it Woodwright Guitars. His company is called Woodbine Guitars, and we did an import line built in Korea at Mur Music, who they do the Reverend guitars and
probably Dunnable DEs now. I'm
Italian.
guessing.
Well, there's a few Korean factories, and I'm not sure if Dunnable's done out of that factory or not. But it went great. I mean, it was scary, and there was a lot of unknowns, and it was difficult at times. But overall, I think it happened, and we got the first batch in and shipped out, and customers really happy with how the guitars came out.
That's so cool.
Badass guitars for a good price, I thought. And so now we're just trying to work with them to get the second batch going. For later this year. Still supply chain issues and just, up against some of that shit. So we're in a little bit of a holding pattern right now, but hopefully get the second batch rolling here for summer.
So maybe you're the one who can answer. I don't know which episode it came up on, like the mystery of these like first act, super custom, amazing guitars. Why do they exist? Who makes them? Who was the first one? Or like the crazy ovations that are like custom ovations that people play.
Yeah, the
First Act was the company who made the shitty plastic drum set. That I bought my kid.
They did.
So why do they make like sought after custom guitars? Do you know the history, or are we just gonna have to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I know the full history. Yeah, I've got like 6 of them or something like that. I don't know.
Okay,
I've got a whole bunch of them.
Nice.
Basically, the company's gone, or it's changed hands and it's shut down and was sold. But originally, the First Act guitars that you could buy in Walmart as a marketing venture, essentially they started to make some Korean import series guitars that were a little higher end. And then as a marketing vessel, they opened up this multi-million-dollar custom shop in Boston. It was a one shop, one storefront venture where they gathered up Kelly Butler, I think is his name, who was one of the like master luthiers in the Gibson custom shop, and had him come over, and he brought a bunch of awesome luthiers together, and they put together this big marketing team and started to build these essentially one-off guitars they had their little storefront, and then they went out to all these artists and would offer them just pick your specs. These are the models we got. You could do anything you want, and they would create these one-off guitars that were built in a custom shop, very similar to what you'd have in the Gibson custom shop, kind of guitars that would have priced at $2,000 to $3,000 at the time. We're talking 15 years ago. Yeah. Now they would be $4,000 or $5,000, right? But at the time they were probably 2 or 3, and all made in very limited quantities. But some of them ended up being played, like Jeff Matz played one of their basses for a while. Pike obviously played the 9-string, and like I said, lots of hardcore bands and some of the doomier bands of the time, of the era. You're talking 08, 07.
I was curious, like, who in there was the fan that was, like, going out to Matt? Because Matt Pike in 2007 is not Matt Pike in 2021. It's not post-Grammy. It's not the rediscovery of Dope Smoker and kind of the legend, that being named, like, the #1 heavy album of all time by Rolling Stone or whatever crazy shit happened. That's interesting. I remember when it came up, because when Russian Circles got all their shit stolen, like a month ago, he had one that was stolen.
It was it had that custom inlay in it, right?
Yeah, that's like sad. They're gone forever. I mean, that's an irreplaceable instrument because there's probably only one of them.
Yeah.
I was able to get Pete Adams, when he played in Baroness, had a couple of them. And I had someone reach out to me directly with Pete's guitars, Pete's First Act double cut guitars. And so I was able to get my hands on both of those.
And then get them back.
Badass.
He sold them.
He sold them. He sold them.
Damn, nice.
This guy years ago. I don't know. I've been into him because I was obviously into Pike, like at that time, right? Like when he started playing them, I remember the videos for the Death Is This Communion album. They did like a making of series, and so he's playing this guitar and he's talking about, this 9-string guitar was custom built for me, blah blah blah, and I'd been obsessed with it kind of since seeing that video. And actually the first one I got after the shop had closed down. I was able to track down a luthier who worked in the shop prior to it closing down, and he had 2 unfinished First Act custom shop double cuts, like in paint with tape on the fretboards and stuff. And he sent me pictures, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's finish them. Let's do it. and he had all the parts, and we did it. And
wow.
And then since then, I bought and sold a handful of them. Like I've got a 12 string. I mean, I've collected them for sure. And they used to be really cheap too, you know. And now that you don't see them, and when you do, they're super expensive.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, we tried to take that design and bring it back, you know, and do the really cool inlays they had and the whole deal, and hopefully, you know, put them out there for people to own a guitar like something that they could have otherwise not owned.
Any of the 9 strings?
I've not had a 9 string, or we have not done 9 strings. I think we will.
That'd be rad.
Yeah, one of my greatest misses was I went on a date with my wife and woke up in the morning and one of the 9 strings had sold on eBay.
Oh no!
For like $900 way back. That's like my one that got away story that'll haunt me forever.
Yikes!
That's crazy. Why Korea? Like, do they just have a ton of guitar production facilities?
I'll let you
I mean, Korea just had like the quality wise, they do a really nice job, and I think Korean construction is known for being good quality, and they're able to do it at a much more affordable price point compared to what you would do it for over here.
Yeah, I mean, in the guitar industry, it was like, I mean, if you trace the history of Fender and Gibson, everything was made here until it wasn't, and then things were made in Japan or made in Mexico, and those were seen as, you know, that's the Squire, right? That's like that's the cheap model, and it's like, well, I'll get it, but I can afford it. But over time, and especially in Korea, they've really ratcheted up the quality that they're able to crank out in volume, and so now you can get these pretty nice, like, good to go instruments at a much lower price than the American made stuff.
Yeah. It's, I mean, asking because it never really occurred to me until, you know, you just said that you're doing yours in Korea, and I know Sasha's doing his in Korea, and it seems like a lot of luthiers are making their non-custom ones in Korea.
And Korea's done that over the years in a few industries. There was a time when I worked in bikes, and there were a couple factories in Korea that were making a lot of the bike frames, like mountain bike frames that you would see branded with different names. And they just figured out outsourced manufacturing. I mean, Japan too, for sure. Now, what's funny is some of the stuff made in Japan, which was kind of looked down upon back in the day, is now kind of sought after in some cases. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like the made in Japan, some of the made in Japan BC Riches are, you know, people are hunting for those. And yeah, so it's weird the way it all.
Weird.
I mean,
the Indonesia has become pretty popular as well. Like LTDs built in Indonesia, and I think solar guitars are being built in Indonesia. A lot of I'm trying to think of the other brands being built. There's one factory in particular out there.
Capitalists are good at finding cheap labor and low regulations. Let's just put it that way. And when things start getting expensive somewhere, they find somewhere else. Yeah. Indonesia is interesting. They've come up on the podcast a few times because there's like kind of a hot metal scene across a few genres in Indonesia. We've had like sludge and doom bands, some like crazy death metal bands. So I'm curious, like, how things get from here to there. Obviously, the internet, everything's available, but still, like, what? I'm always curious how these little micro scenes in other parts of the world appear out of nowhere. There are a bunch of artists that we've used that do art for albums and whatever in Indonesia.
Same. Like Yoyada, I've used him a few times. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's
Rimba Ranu, I think, is in Indonesia. The buddies use him for Glory or Death stuff.
They're badass too. They crank it out and they do like beautiful drawings. Like
it's incredible, and they're making good money, but you're paying so much less. I mean, I like to support artists in this country too. But you know, when you need to, we're doing show flyers. You know, we need to do 12 flyers over 3 months. Can't pay. I'm not paying $500 a pop for a flyer. We just can't. So, but if you can get original art from somewhere else for $50 or
less,
whatever.
And your logo.
I mean, his rates have gone up. The one in the back was just drawn by one of my best friends. Just I've known forever. He just, I just asked him. I just figured he knew me well and could do it. You know, we grew up together, and so he did that thing. But yes, the Does It Doom writing that I have was done by Steven Yoyada, and really I picked Steven because I loved his work. I didn't even think about the pricing at the time. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, wow, this kid's doing some really cool stuff, and I've used him a few times since. Just because he's just awesome. I mean, I feel like he's really easy to work with. He does whatever revisions and cranks shit out. Like, you're not waiting forever. But our pedal art has been done by an artist over here. Earthward Art does all of our pedals and stuff, and he's been just so much fun to work with. He's done a ton of cool pedals over the years, and he's was fun to get hooked up with, and he did a lot of artwork for Black Arts Toneworks and Dunwich and stuff. So we've used him on the whole line so far, and he's done awesome.
Yeah, the guy who did art for our second album, I'm pretty sure is also from Indonesia. And he does rad stuff, and I was gonna ask him at some point, like, why are you guys all like so good at this and so into this, like,
guys,
because there are a few of them. He's friends with a few. As we were talking specifically about some people that he's friends with, and it was just like, I want to know how this happens. But yeah, like if you're into, I'll plug him because he's been good to us. He does really crazy psychedelic. He's done a couple shirts for Sasha over the years. I think he did a Rigs of Dad.
Fuzz Drones, that's so cool. Because I know those guys well, or I know Zach at Fuzz Drones. If you go back like to right there, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He has a demo channel on YouTube and does a bunch of cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just dropped that artwork, so that's fresh and new that he just did.
Indeed, there we go. Rigs of Doom. I mean,
that's funny. Woolly Wizard right up there. That's the beard. Oh,
really? Right
company
there?
That's the balm company I use. Oh. Yeah, here's their shit right here.
That's awesome. There it is, Woolly Wizard.
And he gets work because we all just go like, fucking have this guy do it.
It's so cool. Look how cool
amazing.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to find.
That is cool. I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find where's the last Dunnable one that he did. There were some funny ones. Oh, there's ours.
Oh, that's rad.
Hiding in there. There's Carl. It's our guitar player meditating. This guy's rad. I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to get him to. I need to make sure
I'm following him. I think
it's
this is great stuff.
If you're listening, it's at Alfie Andy Kid on Instagram.
Andy with an I.
ALFIANDI.
Scroll down some more. Scroll down some more. Sure. I feel like one of my another good buddy in a band that I've got their T-shirt in the merch pile here.
Probably.
I feel like he might have done their band art for their new album, but
let's see. Was it farther down?
Just go down a little bit more.
Listening to people.
Okay. We'll see if when it comes up, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, he's
probably there.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he's just. Oh, here's a poster he did for. This was a festival we threw. Beers in Hell. There you go.
Beautiful.
There it is, all in one shot. So hopefully you're watching this on YouTube and not just listening, or you're not seeing all this.
You're not seeing anything.
You're just hearing us talking about pictures.
Say how cool it is.
No, we'll see if you can get this up on YouTube.
Oh,
fine. No, I've work break coming up. It's time. I'm gonna get caught up.
So am I.
Yeah. All right. So hey, the main event here is listening to some music.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. What do we want to listen to?
Something good.
Yes.
Although we don't know.
Indeed, something good. I'm going to start here because it's not on the right page. Oh. So here we have familiar logo. This is a Ripple music band called Foster Mother. Just happens to be a Ripple band that I've never heard of or listened to.
That's true.
Have you ever?
I've never even heard of them.
No.
I have seen no promotions for this one.
All right. I haven't either.
I follow all of Todd's channels.
So is this Adam Burke or is it the guy who did the King Buffalo?
That's got to be Adam Burke.
Oh, no. But if you look at the King Buffalo space cover, it looks a lot like this. I forget that guy's name. He's awesome, too. I love that
font.
Ryan something?
Fonts.
Yeah.
Yeah, what font? Is that like a font, or did somebody...
I don't know. I think it's like a take on a font.
There are other bands with that font, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
We're very similar.
All right, so the song we're going to listen to is off their new record called The Ocean, which I think is not actually even out yet, but it's about to come out.
All right.
And this song is called Hedonist. instrumental?
Maybe.
What do you think?
I like it.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
You like that?
There was a minute there where all I could hear was that cymbal hit. Like
Yeah.
it was really out there. But yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to nitpick production over
Yes,
Zoom, so we
exactly,
try not to do it. But I will say, like, for how much space there was in the composition, the recording was so clean. I almost wished it was like a little noisier in those quiet parts. It was super clean.
What'd you think?
I thought the guitar tone was really good. I was kind of focused on in the beginning, and then liked how they kind of went to a little more atmospheric sounding, and you were like, oh, instrumental, and then the vocals kicked in, and it sounded kind of Lane Staley-esque to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, I mean, I've said this before, and I don't,
I know what you're gonna say.
you know what I'm going to say.
It's the make or break moment when
It's
when that singing starts.
Yep.
Is that kind of how you look at it too, or can you tune out vocals that you don't like if you love the music enough?
No, I
No.
can't. I like instrumental a lot these days. To just not hear vocals at all is good with me. But yeah, I can't tune out a vocalist I don't like.
Yeah, same here. And that's that. Speaking of Matt, that's like sort of the make or break for High on Fire too. My buddy and I talk about it. My partner at the label talk about it. He loves Mike. I mean, he loves Matt, and he loves High on Fire's music. But as soon as Matt opens his mouth, Buddy's just like, I can't do it, man. Tap out.
Definitely. I mean, he's doing the Lemmy thing, right? Like it's got that Lemmy style vocal to it, and you either like it or you don't. It's kind of unique. There's not a lot of people with that sound or tone.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
You know it's him immediately. All right,
Yeah.
so
I don't know where these guys are from.
they're from Houston, if I remember correctly. We're a minute 36 into a 4-minute and 50-second song. Let's ask the question: is there a guitar solo?
I don't think there's going to be like a solo.
I don't
I think
think so
there's just
either.
going to be
Think
maybe
so?
there'll be like an interlude somewhere where
Okay.
there's like
All right, I'm
I
gonna
don't know
scoop.
though. I could hear like a minor, slow, ballady solo going
Yeah,
on over some of
maybe.
this. We're gonna let's hear.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the solo spot, which is like just shy of the 2/3 mark.
solo spot.
You can tell we've done this a few times. All right,
All
let's
right.
see.
There's an organ in there now.
Yeah, I'll revisit that.
Yeah, I'll revisit that for sure.
It's good.
This is the only song that's out right now.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, yeah.
Hedonist.
I'd like to hear more.
9 whole tracks.
Sweet.
The massive 7-tracker turned into a massive 9-tracker.
Is it already pre-sale?
Pre-sale is up right now.
Look at that.
I'll tell you behind the scenes. Go to if the band has their own page and not the
Yes.
Ripple. No offense, Todd. If the band has their own page, go and buy the records from the band first. That is the band's payment for turning the record into Ripple. And then once they run out, then go and buy it from the Ripple page. So you know.
And that's how it works.
And that's how it works. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So what's next? I'll tell you what's next. What's next is Hot
I
Bananas.
don't know, but Hot Bananas sounds pretty awesome. Crash Cadet.
Yes, this is a band. They sent us in. They said they love horrors, and so they listened to the Christian episode, and then they started listening to all episodes, and then they sent us music.
We're gonna get some noisy. There's a lot of bright colors.
Yeah,
A lot of bright
Boston.
colors for sure.
Yeah.
we got Berkeley kids. Oh, come on.
Do we have Berkeley?
I don't
kids?
know.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
no more clues.
It's gonna be noisy and rambunctious.
This song is called Hot Bananas, which I like. Sure, sounds good. I love this.
I absolutely love this.
I don't know why I love it, but I
It's
do.
just catchy and fun.
So how broad is your listening? You can, if you have comments on this, feel free to make them.
Not
but
that broad.
You
Not that broad.
I had a feeling you're not into the hot bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to like the Doom stuff, obviously, and I listen to like a bunch of old Chicago blues and some classic rock and stuff, and some traditional metal. You know, like I'll listen to Judas Priest. My kids love Judas Priest.
Nice.
As all kids should.
No, right?
I am so into this.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. This is so my jam.
Hot bananas.
It's like something I would, that's driving around. It's good driving music.
Yeah,
Makes you happy.
I didn't dislike it. Here, let's listen to
How
a little
long is
bit
the
more.
song?
4 minutes and 41 seconds, which is a little
I
surprising.
got to do
honestly.
more than
Hot bananas.
I don't know if I could do that for 4.5 minutes.
Oh, dude. All right. Look, all you have to do is look at the lyrics on Bandcamp.
Hot bananas.
So
hot
we're in
bananas.
this section of Hot Bananas, but we still have 3 more sections of Hot Bananas to go.
That's a lot of hot bananas.
At some point, it's going to turn into torture.
They should buy that banana juicer you were looking at earlier.
Let's listen a little bit more.
Guitar solo or what?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, unexpected. That was better than I expected it was going to be.
I know, right? I like this description. It says that Crash Cadet can be found at the local pop culture dispensary, worshiping at its gaudy gates.
All right. Well, it's one guy, this whole project.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and recorded by him too.
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess that's not surprising. You could do.
It's
But
in
there's
that.
3 guys on the cover.
I don't know. It says Crash Cadet is the music of Josh Rathbun.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes in that bucket of weird indie like Man, or
Yeah,
where it's like the
completely.
Mr. Bungle side of me can listen to this because it's like the Green Jello side because it's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long that would last for.
And I like it just because I like this kind of music.
Yeah. Yeah, like if I hear I won't hunt it out, but if I hear it, I'm down.
Oh, I'll totally.
So my college daughter is home for the holidays, and she was running Spotify in the car the other day, and the Flaming Lips come on, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, she has really diverse taste, and she listens to some good stuff, and I was like, oh, it's really interesting that I think a whole generation of kids learned about the Flaming Lips because of Miley Cyrus, because she did a whole record where they were the band for the record and did a whole tour with them, and she's all, what? Flaming Lips did something with Miley Cyrus? And I was like, you're a freak. How do you know about the Flaming Lips, but not through, you just listen to the Flaming Lips for no good reason? That was awesome.
That's insane. The first time I saw Flaming Lips was they opened for Tool, actually, which is quite the
Yeah, for sure.
quite the multi-genre. Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, this one I read like the first paragraph of the little PR thing that came with it.
Oh, I see a violin.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But the band is called Tears of Fire, and they're from Berlin, Germany, but they're not really from Berlin, Germany.
All right. Ooh, and there's a spellcaster, or maybe not a spellcaster. I don't know.
A wizard,
What's that thing?
a skull.
Oh, is that a skull? Oh. I thought that was a seeing globe thing.
They're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
Smells like black metal. So, given what you know about this podcast, JD, and the fact that these guys are from Berlin, what's the real story?
What's the real story?
Yeah, think Armand.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So here we have, and this has been a trend we've seen, bands that are like Iranians that have been displaced to lots of other parts of the world, but in a lot of cases, Germany, who get into metal and then write metal that also blends with like traditional Persian music. And then I know when we get to the vocals, because it said in the first paragraph, is another one where he's singing all in Farsi.
Oh, interesting.
I liked it.
It's
it.
really cool.
Yeah.
I
So
thought it
I
was
just
really
like
cool,
that the lead singer is Magus Lord Faustus Crowley.
Ooh.
And he's from, we have Persia, Sweden, Iran. I love that one is like Persia, no, not Iran. And the other one's like, no, it's
No, it's Iran.
I wonder if those are band fights.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to a little bit more.
Yeah, were you into that?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's kind of weird. Do you listen to more on the extreme side, black metal, death metal?
I like black metal. I don't listen to so much of it these days, but I do like black metal and death metal.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Not that you would know he was singing in Farsi.
Yeah,
but it was good to get the heads up.
I want to hear this recorded well so badly.
This black metal.
I know I shouldn't have brought that up.
No, you're not allowed to say that.
I know.
You're not allowed to say
the
that.
recording's
But,
how
oh my God, I want to hear this with such good production because holy fuck. It's so cool. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, and that is not like just a traditional violin. I mean, that's.
Well, and the scale, right? It's like, it's got that Middle Eastern flair to the scale there they're using, and
yeah. No, if you want to hear that well produced, then we need to go back to what's the band? Progenies of the Great Apocalypse. I made you listen to them. They're like the super produced black metal. Most people like symphonic black metal. Dimmu Borgir.
Maybe that's the other thing I don't like about black metal. I don't know.
What do you? So we hear that Middle Eastern scale in that, but as a person teaching guitar and whatnot, that it's not just the scale, but now we're starting to get these bands playing microtonal instruments that the instruments that contributed to those weird scales in a lot of cases had way more frets than we're used to. What do you think about microtonal stuff in heavy music? Do you listen to like King Gizzard or any bands doing it?
I don't really listen to it per se, but I like that sound. I got like a bouzouki earlier this year. My father-in-law brought it back from Greece for me, and I've been messing around with that, and it's just kind of fun to play like Phrygian dominant type stuff, and I don't know, just the sounds you get out of it are different, and I can often just hear it in my head how you can just blend it with metal, kind of like how they're doing with this. And it's a unique sound. It's not overdone, right? It's like it kind of is piquing my interest because it's not something you hear super often.
Yeah, and we have one PR company that's in touch with us regularly that is funneling bands from the Middle East for sure, like making us aware of there's lots and lots of bands coming up. So again, I'm interested in the parts of the world where people are actually super into metal right now, and those aren't always in the United States anymore. So.
And are they blending the Middle Eastern like influences?
A lot of them.
Music-wise,
a lot of them
are.
are.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of them are definitely blending the influences, the stories, the history and mythology, not just like the lyrical content.
Sure.
and yeah, then the melodies, and then how much deeper can you go when you're actually playing some of the instruments? Like Jeff Matz has gotten into playing that baglama, and is now selling them, like importing them from Turkey to sell here in the States. And so now you can actually not just like sort of approximate it with bends and whatnot, but you can actually have all the semitones to use. That's why
it's cool.
I don't love everything King Gizzard does, but I just am so fascinated listening to all of the microtonal stuff, because it's just a completely different kind of musical experience, and they really blend like a Western and more Eastern experience. Like the rhythms make sense, and the instrumentation makes sense, but then you're just hearing these notes that your ears just not used to hearing.
Yeah, sure.
It's everything sounds out of tune, but it's not. And that's just because we're used to 12, to 12 notes. So
yeah,
it's only out of tune to your ears.
Only to your ears. All right. So the last thing I wanted to listen to is actually not new to me or really to anyone, but it's about to come. It's about to come out, and I haven't listened to any of the songs off of it yet, and it involves a bunch of our friends. So it is legendary punk rock drummer. The Slayer hippie from Poison Idea, the Portland punk rock band, passed away last year. He was in the middle of this project of putting together a Blue Oyster Cult tribute record.
Oh, wow.
And we've done tribute records. Everybody's done tribute records, but Steve was doing it in a very different way, which was anytime a band that he had agreed to record a song came through Portland, he brought him into the studio and he engineered and recorded everything. So unlike other tribute records, other than the bands themselves, this was going to have a consistent production across the whole thing. Usually we're all just cool. Like working with our whoever, but no, he was producing everything. So
that's awesome.
He passed away part of the way through the project, so his partner Ian Watts took over, and then Ripple decided to release it, and they finished off everything. So it features a bunch of friends, a bunch of people probably all of us know. Interesting though, like there's a new band called Cosmo Demonic Telegraph Company featuring Mark Lanigan, Nick Oliveri, and Sean Coombs. Year of the Cobra there was one track where he had recorded the drums, but nothing else. So they took his drum track and recorded the rest of the song over it so that drum track could stay in the release. So far, the two songs that have been released are Howling Giant doing Godzilla, which is funny because they had Bob from Fu Manchu play the solo. I mean, I've seen Fu Manchu play that song 100 times. And then Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll by Zeke. And we had Mark on, I don't know, 20 episodes ago.
To those guys.
Yeah, we talked up.
My kids love Godzilla. I've listened to it 1,000 times over the past year.
Yeah.
The original version, and the Fu Manchu version.
Yeah, and of course we've got Great Electric Quest. I knew they recorded Flaming Telepaths. Tony Reed from Oz Generator did the same thing. He took a Slayer hippie drum track and recorded the rest of the songs. So this is going to be like fun and sort of emotional when it comes out, I think, just because of I know all the work that went into getting this thing finished.
How does the Year of the Cobra work with the
Slayer
hippie?
John just didn't play drums. I think he's going to sing and do other shit.
So it was really just Amy.
John has value even if he's not playing drums.
True. He's a good cheerleader.
Sometimes he's singing. Well, no, he sings on some of the songs. Got a microphone stuck in his face. All right, so let's hear a little bit of Godzilla.
That's awesome.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It's a tone I never want in the studio, but it's perfect here.
Yeah.
right.
So is Bob doing all of those lead parts?
I would imagine so. It sounded like him.
Nice. That's crazy. That sounded so good.
That was awesome. I thought it was killer.
They crushed it. Do you know? Have you ever met those guys? Howling Giant. Really good dudes, and just crushing right now. I make fun of Berkeley kids. They're all Berkeley kids, but they're fine. They're nice.
The vocals on that were great too.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah, they give Berkeley a good name.
That sounded so awesome. So when does the actual album come out?
The release date is January 14th.
Wow.
And that track's out already?
That track's out. It's up on Bandcamp already. You can order the vinyl. I think they did a Kickstarter. Maybe they just did a regular pre-sale. I think they kind of did it quick and dirty just because they didn't have time to set up a fancy, like we're used to doing. All right, so let's hear a little bit of the Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll by Zeke. This is going to pin you to a wall and punch you in the face. Oh, that riff is so good.
So good.
It's like
gonna be a great record. You could tell. I mean, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's like I don't know the writers for Blue Oyster Cult, but it's like they listen to Black Dog on repeat, and we're like, okay, let's come up with one of those. I know we got it, that like long pause, and then it drops back into the riff. It's so killer. Yeah, no, this is gonna be good. Go to the Ripple Bandcamp page, get yourself a copy. All of the proceeds are going to Steve's partner, his Kitty, who he lived with and for a long time. So it all goes to support Kitty and deal with, I guess, Steve being gone. So he was the best dude. I got to play with him once, and just a fucking awesome guy, super gregarious. We were done, fucking crushed a whole pizza at 2:00 in the morning in Santa Cruz at the bar at the Blue Lagoon, and he just lived good. All right. Sweet. So what are you listening? What are you obsessing over right now? What are you listening to recently? Do you listen to a lot of new music?
I wouldn't say a ton. I get a lot of people send me stuff, and so I listen to a lot of that. What's strange is I usually end up obsessing over a lot of what I focus the channel on at the moment, and somehow I've got kind of obsessed with this. I've had a big Black Sabbath thing. We just released like a Black Sabbath inspired pedal that was designed to kind of combine the Laney supergroup with the a vintage Rangemaster circuit, which is I guess that's a weird one to say you've been obsessed with, but it's just been like because I've been obsessed with it forever. But
no, that's fair.
It's been a lot of fun over the past 6 to 8 weeks as we kind of finished up and got that pedal to release because I did all these demos and had sent them out to some people to do demos, and everybody's kind of using this pedal to chase that iconic like 70s live Sabbath sound. So it's been a lot of fun to just fuck around with that and just playing all these old Sabbath riffs I haven't played in years. And that was fun, but through that, I kind of got re-obsessed with the first Electric Wizard album because it kind of has a similar tone. And so I just last week taught a lesson on Behemoth, which is a track off that record. And it's like the record that doesn't get so much praise, I would say. It's like people love Dope Throne and Come My Fanatics and stuff, but that first Electric Wizard album kind of has a different feel. It's tuned up from where they usually tune. It's in C standard instead of B and B flat, and it has more of this just overdriven tube amp sound to it as opposed to like the hyper fuzz tone or what have you that came later. So I've been kind of obsessed with that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm brainstorming for the channel just because I am that way. So who are some other like established guitar players in stoner and doom who are so uniquely their own kind of thing that they would need your kind of deep dive analysis to help people get into from like the current generation. Like
I don't know that it's necessarily unique as opposed to just people like to see how to play their favorite songs, you know. It's not even necessary. I think people know that I put a lot of time into trying to make sure I'm playing it correctly, that I've got the tone in the ballpark, and that it's played as the artist would have played it on stage in the right tuning, like I said, and using gear that's appropriate. And so people like really love wind hand lessons, I find. That's something that does really well. That's a really great band. One of my favorite.
I love wind hand
bands, and live they're amazing. I just think they kind of have it all, like the guitar tones and the bass, you know, just the instrumental tone, and then Dorothea's voice is amazing, and the riffs are amazing, and they don't stretch out the songs too long. It's all kind of simple song structures, couple riffs, you know, 2 or 3, and really great riffs though, like great riffs I feel. And so yeah, I mean, Matt's a special case. Like he's way beyond what I can do, like in terms of technical level.
Yeah.
I can play his rhythm parts, you know what I mean? Like people are like, "Oh, teach the solo from XYZ song." I'm like, "You're on your own with that." Like you're gonna need
join his Patreon.
far more talented than myself to even approach that. Like I'm nowhere in that ballpark. But
what about Boris? That seems like one that would come up. Wada.
Boris is fun, and it's I did Heavy Friends a few months ago, which is a really cool song because it's got this like these blues licks infused with this, like I think it's in drop G sharp, if I remember, drop G or drop G sharp tuning. And so you got these really heavy like riffs with these like blues, just straight up blues licks like infused throughout, and that was a fun one. And I also did a tab for Akuma no Uda, which is a bit more wild, but they're a really cool band. I would say that is in the ballpark of something that's a little more, you know, a little more innovative probably, and difficult to master. Strangely, Sunn has been amazing. Like as I've dove into trying to teach people Sunn songs, which seems strange, they're actually some of the most popular lessons on the channel.
Crazy.
Interesting.
Because to break down the riffs, like it's often in free time, but there often is a pattern. It's not like it's just random notes. And because there's so much separation, it seems like it's all improvised or just random notes in a way, but it rarely is. Like you're able to break down the songs and kind of see these huge riffs that are like they're played in free time, so the tempo is just kind of free flowing, and they're just kind of feeling it out based on how much feedback and sustain they're getting at the time and whatnot. And so that's been super fun to break down some songs and show people what's going on and how to maybe approach that technique and tone. That's been amazing, just the response.
I might appreciate them more, not just listening to them, but listening to them with someone explaining to me what the fuck is going on.
Because it just sounds like a bunch of power chords, right? Like one that's played like very dissonant.
Yeah.
But usually there's a scale, and they're playing within a scale to some degree, and there are riffs. They're just very drawn out.
Yeah.
If you speed it way up on
wow, interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I never thought of that. That would be like, seriously, get like a Sunn record and play it on 45 instead of 33.
Well, no, I mean, you can speed up YouTube without changing. You can slow it down without changing pitch, but you can speed it up too.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Oh,
you definitely slow down without changing pitch. Yeah. Yeah, you speed it. Everything that's doing speed up and slow down, like podcasts and stuff. I listen to some podcasts in like 2x speed, and it's usually pretty.
It's usually pretty good. It's not too chipmunky.
It's not too chipmunky. It's not. It's not. They maintain pitch pretty good. They do a good pitch correction, but that's a good way to. I have done that for Sunn riffs for sure. I'm 90% sure that it doesn't change the pitch.
Yeah.
So cool.
And then the other I think maybe sort of obvious one would be Buzz. Have you dove into the Melvins? I
did a little Melvins, and I did a couple Melvins tunes, and they've done so much. Their style, right, is just like broad.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can have the super sludgy stuff, and then faster punk stuff almost sounding. You know, it's.
You know what I would. I'm gonna make a request. I know you get paid for that, but that cover of "I Want to Hold Your Hand," because A, it's Melvins, but B, it's a Beatles song. It's for like doing a YouTube video is an interesting kind of crossover.
That's a good idea.
Because then you can get into like the mentality of the changes that he made, because there's some really interesting subtle changes that I think make that song really pop. The first time I heard it live, I was like blown away. Like, what the fuck did I just hear? But when you go back and listen to it, it's mostly pretty faithful, except for a few, deviations here and there. So that'd be a fun one.
Yeah. Should we visit the merch table?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I got good stuff.
Have you been buying merch? Do you buy a lot of merch?
I've got some stuff. I get shirts and stuff. I like to pick stuff up from just guys who I see a lot online who are, I've formed relationships with and whatnot.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it is nice. It's a fairly, you were talking about getting, working with the pedal builders. We talked to Eric about that. Like when you're in the good network, in the good part of the community, people are pretty fucking helpful, like solving problems and figuring things out, even if they're technically the competition. So
sure. Yeah. I feel like in the community, for the most part, everybody's very helpful with each other.
That's so cool.
All right, so what do you got?
What have you grabbed?
I've got this hoodie I picked up a little while ago from a band called Fog Giant in Erie, PA.
Yeah, Fog Giant. Yeah, I think we actually listened to them
on the
Fog Giant Doom.
That's cool artwork.
Yeah. It's I think the single was called Riff Wizard, and
that's super cool.
Those guys have been, I've just around and chatted with them and supporters of mine, and I loved the artwork, and the song was really good too, and the LP they put out their or EP. And I've worn the shit out of this thing. I wear it all the time.
Sounds like you. You like hoodies.
These are from my buddies in Witch Pit in South Carolina. They're in.
We listened to them last week.
We did?
Yes.
Yeah, they just got signed by
Heavy Psych.
Heavy Psych Sounds, yeah.
Yep.
So just put out their symbol. But Thomas is a buddy of mine, and they've, I'm pumped for them. I feel like they did all the right stuff. They've got a YouTube channel. He's done a ton of really nice high production demos, done demos for me, but demos for other like Model T demos, and I don't know. They've done it right. They make good music too.
Yeah. No, we did. They were part of the submissions for last week.
They were.
And we hadn't heard them yet. So
did you like it?
Yeah, we did. We did. I think I was like kind of iffy on the vocals, maybe like on the vocal style.
I can't remember which one it was.
But maybe I wasn't, and maybe I'm just outing myself for no reason.
I remember it. I do remember it blew me away.
You liked it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I made some joke about it being a witch band and expecting something and getting another.
Yeah, that was the first. that was the first part of the conversation. Was that's actually an interesting use of witch. I thought there were no other ways to use.
No other
witch.
ways to use it.
Yeah. No,
it's been done a lot, right? And this is the last one I want to show. I think this was Stephen Yoyada's artwork, but Team Haas, I think in Indiana. I hope I get that right, but they did this little 2-song EP thing, and I think it was called R.I.P. Robert E. Lee was one of the. It was a really great track they did, and but yeah, those guys are really cool. Again, I feel like just doing it right. Like they've set up this really killer studio so they can produce kind of really cool video content of their band jamming, and the lights and everything looks really, really cool, and all the gear and stuff, and good guys. So
that's awesome.
I just love to see when guys who are just working it, like
absolutely
doing everything that needs to be done.
Speaking of Howling Giant, have you spent much time listening to them?
I have not.
So similar to you'd like them. So that was obviously who did Godzilla. They live in a house together essentially. One of the guy's wife is a producer. She makes all the she engineers and mixes everything in their house. They have a Twitch.
Wow.
They're on Twitch like 3 days a week. One day they play D&D. No, four times a week.
One day they play D&D.
One day the drummer does play-alongs and take requests. One day the guitar player does play-alongs and take requests, and then the last day is just the band practice. And they'll take requests during band practice even.
And this is on Twitch? They've done it?
Yeah, on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're on Blues Funeral. Yeah, I think they had one record out on Ripple and maybe one on Magnetic
They're just a Jad band,
but they're a Jad Schickler
they're a
band.
Jad Schickler band.
Yeah,
that's so cool though. I feel like that's just doing it.
Right?
I really respect that, and I look at that and think like that's the way to do it. I don't know.
They don't have to ask anyone for anything. They just
do
these days.
Yeah, they just make it. All right, what do you got?
Oh man, you don't even know.
You have gifts for me?
No, they're good though.
Oh,
I got the It's a Holiday Soul Party, Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. This is a great Christmas album.
Is it? All right.
It's a really good.
I've never listened to it, so I'll have
Yes.
to take your word for it.
Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings are amazing. And then I also got James Brown's Soulful Christmas.
That's amazing.
You know it.
Uh-oh.
James Brown dressed as Santa Claus. Santa Claus goes straight to the ghetto.
So you felt the need to change things up this year for holiday music?
Yeah, you know. Well, we always just stream, but I needed some holiday albums.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up where it was like, that's when you knew it was the holiday season because your parents pulled out the stack of
Holiday records.
vinyl. Like, it was all the Christmas records that came out, and you're like, yeah.
That's funny.
I didn't realize Halford did a Christmas album. Somehow I didn't
Are you
realize
serious?
that
Oh.
existed.
Did?
But I have discovered that existed
Oh,
through my
shit.
kids just loving
JD's looking
Judas
it up
Priest.
right now.
Got to look that up. Rob Halford Christmas album.
I mean, we were decorating the tree before I came over here, and it was just like, oh, I'm so tired of the same old Christmas songs. And it's like fun to hear them once, but it's only the 13th of December. There's a ways to go. So if we can mix it up a little bit, that'd be good.
Oh.
All right. So I have a gift for you, actually.
Oh, you do?
Because in the mail today, I received the Eldovar Cadaver Elder combined band record that they made during quarantine. Do you know about this? Do you know Elder? Have you ever listened to Elder?
Yeah.
Okay, so Elder and Cadaver are both in Germany, and they decided to get together and make a record as one band over
wow.
the quarantine.
Isn't that cool?
It's all of both bands?
Not all of them.
Oh.
It's all the ones that were in Europe, I think.
So not a split. Like what did they call it? What's the band they called it?
Eldovar. Yeah.
Eldovar.
Yeah, it's Nick. It's definitely Nick from Elder. I think it's all of Cadaver, but some of Elder still lives in the States.
Do you think it sounds anything like El DeBarge?
I hope so.
I hope so.
So that's your copy.
Thanks. Thanks, dude.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas to me.
Yep. And then
I didn't get you a copy of James Brown's Soul for Christmas.
So I was a lucky boy, as you can see from my hoodie. Skinner is one of my all-time favorite artists. Are you familiar with Skinner? He did the Once More Round the Sun album cover. He did the High on Fire cover for the record that won the Grammy.
Okay.
And he's done album art for a bazillion bands. He did the Black Pot animated video.
Yes, he did.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's all.
Familiar
That's
with
all
that.
his art. So he's local. Every once in a while, he'll dig up a bunch of old bottles and then just hand paint characters on them and sell them on his site. And like buying a Skinner original now is probably out of the picture for me. But he throws these bottles up like kind of reasonably priced, but they're usually hard to get. And somehow this time I managed to get 2 of them. My wife and I both snagged one. They were sold out in like 30 seconds. They were gone. So this is the first one I got.
Oh,
So
that's
the-
really cool.
So the green screen's kind of fucking with the green in his face. But so anything that's our background is actually green.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's
Yeah,
right.
I see
no
Sorry,
green.
Can you?
Yeah,
see
there's
no
no green.
But
You
it
can
still
just-
looks cool.
Yeah.
It still does look cool.
So we'll just leave
Even
that.
if it is see-through.
Leave that sitting here, and then
Oh, it was Electric Messiah that he did the
Electric
Yeah.
Messiah, yeah. And then this is another one that's like these 2 ghouls, like a ghoul
So
stacked
cool.
on top of a brain in this like crusty old ancient bottles. I love it.
But that one's got green on it too, yeah?
Yeah, it's got a bunch of
yeah.
green. I could turn the green screen off, and then you'd see this mess of a
that's
room we're in.
Yeah, you don't want to show that.
No, not at all. So that was, and bought them on Friday on my porch Monday morning by 8 a.m.
That's cool.
I can't believe. I mean, I know he's just in Oakland. It's not. It's an hour away, but still, he's got to get.
That's when you like pack. You probably just.
How
pack
many
them up
does he
the second
do? Do you
sell
know?
them.
How many
So
went up for sale?
I think this batch was like 20-ish, 20, 25, and they're varying sizes. So
Sure,
he did some
whatever.
really small ones. Yeah.
Which one's the large one? Are these both large?
This one's large and this one's extra large.
Wow,
Yeah.
they're really cool.
Yeah, so I'm very stoked. I have a bunch of his prints up in my house, but nothing original, and
What are
kind
you gonna
of
do with them?
Oh, neat.
put them on a shelf somewhere. I mean, I should drink poison out of them. It seems like
Yeah.
that's what
I
Laura
don't know
goes.
if I would drink anything out of that.
Laura
but,
goes-
I mean, I guess if it's poison,
That's a
that is a nasty looking bottle.
Oh,
I like how his autograph is just Skinner.
yeah,
it's just written in like like Sharpie.
in chicken scratch. Yeah. He is a one-of-a-kind human being. If you've never seen him interviewed, he is a unique dude.
The painting demos that he used to do on YouTube, he probably still does them. He had a show on Vice, wasn't it?
He had a show on Vice, and then I think it went up on YouTube, like Painting with Skinner.
Yeah.
And he would bring it. He brought Buzz on, and they spun a wheel to pick a subject, and then they both like talked and painted at the same time, and then showed their paintings off.
It was ridiculous.
I highly recommended. There's always some weird horror puppet in the background bleeding, and he's a weird dude. So
he's a weird dude.
He's a weird dude. All right.
Yes, that's the mind of Skinner.
That's my merch table.
Nice, sweet.
All right, so your hometown, you said, is Southern Ontario somewhere?
Yeah, Windsor, Ontario, essentially was.
So you're a teenager there. Was there a music scene? Like, were there bands?
Oh yeah,
it
was pretty awesome.
So who are your Windsor bands?
So my favorite Windsor bands growing up were Mr. Bones, and then later became George and Skull, and then still the lead singer moved on and did another band called Gypsy Chief Goliath. And those were, some of my good friends, but just was my genuine just favorite band in the area, and just went to see so many of their shows. The scene was really cool. It was like kind of this stoner rock thing. It wasn't really doom, but it was that's what got me. It was part of the gateway for me into the whole scene, and it was more stoner rock for sure. 50 Watt Head was a band that was around. I can remember at the time. But I got to see Chevy play. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chevy.
Yep.
But got to see them play like with George and Skull and like the Coach and Horses bar. It was just a really cool scene that's gone now. You know what I mean? Like all the cool spots are gone.
Yeah, and you probably caught like the East Coast and Midwest, like first generation stoner bands. Like Clutch is probably coming through Southern Ontario in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
And
oh yeah, we saw some awesome Clutch.
Karma to Burn, and
Yep, Karma to Burn. Clutch, I saw like an Evening with Clutch tour in this like where they opened for themselves as Bakerton Group.
Oh,
I did like a
2-set
show with no support, no nothing. They opened for themselves as an instrumental group called Bakerton Group, just an instrumental band. Then played a full Clutch set. Then went off for 15 minutes and played another full like hour plus Clutch set. It was killer in like a small bar. It was super cool.
Wow.
for like probably like $23 a ticket or something stupid.
Wow. And JP probably lost like 60 pounds playing 3 full sets on drums.
Crazy.
Wow. That's nuts. That's so cool.
That's cool.
Is there, would you say you have like a favorite Canadian band of all time?
No, I mean, it would be Mr.
Those?
Bones, George and Skull, like my buddies there for sure. That was my favorite. And I still listen to that stuff sometimes.
That's awesome. So it's not Justin Bieber
or Rush.
No. I mean, it's like that's where your head goes, right? Like Rush, I guess you're gonna say. But my buddies were bigger Rush fans than I was. I've never been like a.
That
huge
sounds
Rush
familiar.
Yeah,
I did not grow up with Rush. Well, I sort of did. I had a cousin that was, but yeah.
You had a weird cousin who didn't have a girlfriend and listened to Rush.
Exactly. Played bass.
I'm just trying to think. Like I never been my thing.
Yeah, what are the big rock and metal imports from Canada? I should know more than I do.
I should know. Like I'm just drawing a total blank.
Isn't Devin Townsend?
Devin Townsend,
Strapping Young Lad was Canadian.
Yep, still are.
I'm guessing that's too many notes for you. I'm guessing you didn't get into like the tech or progressive side. If you love Windhand, I find that it doesn't often go both ways. Like this is me at a Windhand show. Like, when's the next chord coming? But
it doesn't, right? Like I'm not into the technical progressive stuff like at all.
Yeah.
I like a lot of all of it. Some things, as they get slower and simpler, require me to be there in person and aren't anything that I would ever fire up on like on my headphones.
You have to be in person and be stoned.
Well, and just like, and just
you have to feel it.
Just being crushed by it, because that's such a big part of it. I mean, I've never spent much time listening to Sunn, but we went and saw them at Psycho, and that was cool.
Yeah.
I think everyone laid on the floor for that set.
They?
Yeah. I just remember in the big like 4,000 seat venue, it was early in the day when they played, and everyone was just laying. Everybody was just laying on the floor, just like feeling it. That was pretty killer.
Man, I'm excited. It's like Windhand season.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Like I don't listen to a lot of Windhand during the summer and spring, but like when winter and fall rolls around, it is time for Windhand.
It's Windhand season.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I've been listening to the new Chemist record on repeat.
Yeah?
It's really fucking good. Is that have you ever gotten into those guys?
No, but that's one I get requested a lot. As I'm thinking here, like Elder gets requested a lot for me to teach lessons. Chemists,
Yeah.
I hear people request for me to teach lessons. And that happens sometimes. I'll go and like listen to a band I've never listened to before, and because it's been requested so many times, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I have to like kind of go dive in and so it's oftentimes good, right? Like I oftentimes am like, this shit's great, and that happens more times than not when I end up teaching a song by a band that I didn't know before.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
so
I
cool.
could see wanting to figure out how the fuck he plays all of Compendium off of Lore, which is like a couple albums back, but is, you know, guitar wise is really here, we'll just listen to a little bit of it. We won't get copywritten for this.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Copyright strike.
Yep.
The whole record's great, but I could see a lot of people wanting you to teach that song.
Is that a riff though?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is because it's a repeating
Notes in a sequence.
things, but I don't
This guy knows what's a riff.
What's
a
a
riff?
Yeah, it's a riff. Sounds like a riff to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it is.
To me, before I was deep in the like stoner doom thing, to me a riff could only be played on one string, and once you're playing chords, you're not playing riffs anymore. Now I have since changed my views on that, but yeah, to me a riff was the fucking main riff in Black Dog.
Yeah, I feel like any just repeating chord.
Yeah, it's
passage.
just repeating chords or repeat. It's a
Notes or
repeating
whatever.
pattern.
Yeah.
Just part of song.
It's a part of song. Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah,
if you get into a chorus and you're cycling 4 chords, is that a riff? If it's like in
or like there's melodies that just aren't really riffs, right? Like if a melodic passage sometimes doesn't feel like a riff per se.
Yeah.
Right? Am I?
Yeah, this is a philosophical conversation, I think.
Yeah, philosophical.
But yeah, no, I'm not surprised you get a bunch of requests from them. What do you?
Yeah, they sound out of my league.
Oh, but I mean, you're not gonna like Nick's self-taught. He doesn't know any theory, and parts that he has like I'm sure you could play that part. It doesn't get more. It doesn't get more complicated than that.
No,
it's not gonna. It's not gonna go from there into something.
I thought if that's just the beginning.
No, and it tends to be like kind of odd time, interesting melodic passages, and then chords and riffs and stuff. And maybe the songs have a more progressive structure, longer, more parts, but they're not like wildly technical.
You know what? We talked about it earlier, like guitarists who do some really interesting things in the genre. But Mike from Yob, that's been a very difficult one to approach trying to teach. People have requested over and over and over. And his rhythm playing is just out of my league. I mean,
it's crazy.
And I did do a Blaze, and it was awesome and hard. Like I did a little bit of it, and I'm not even close to being able to approach the shit. Yeah, there was a bunch of songs. I mean, it's so rhythmically technical and amazing. And I did a Blaze on the channel.
I'm sure everyone's like, do the screen, and you're like, no.
do Beauty and Falling Leaves. I get a lot. I mean, it's like I'm not your guy for that. I'm just not. You're gonna have to get someone quite substantially better than me.
That's funny. It'll be like, hey, you know who I really like? Mutoid Man. Can you do like Bridge Burner or one of those like fucking crazy? Have you listened to them at all? Steve Brodsky's an amazing guitar player. Those fucking songs are so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I play Doom because I'm not very good.
You're not supposed to say it out loud. It's kind of the dirty secret. And then we can say it's in the fingers and you got the right amp and stuff. And I put years into this. It's just not as hard.
I mean, it was a revelation for me when all my buddies are like getting into Slayer, and I'm like, I'm not gonna play Jeff Hanneman's shit. Like it's never happening. So I got way into I Hate God and realized that Jimmy Bower never played a single solo, and every one of those albums fucking rules.
Like, I can do that.
Well, and that's sort of the conclusion we've come to. Like, I didn't. What are you pointing
You
at?
want to stop sharing?
Oh yeah, thank you. Sharing Wikipedia.
Just look at Wikipedia for a while here.
Sure. I never got into punk rock, but I see for a young musician the appeal. It's like super approachable. You think, oh, I could pick up a guitar and figure that out. And I think ultimately that's what kind of stoner rock is for old guys, right? It's like if you haven't played, or if you played a little bit when you were younger, because the genre does, tilt kind of old.
Yep.
From a fan standpoint. Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, our YouTube demographics.
Oh yeah.
Are like 90. I'm sure yours is the same. Like 98% Caucasian male between 36 and
36 and 44.
I think mine are a little younger maybe, but it's 98% males.
Yeah.
And it's 18 to 34 is the
Ooh, you're hooking that younger demographic.
maybe a little older maybe.
Like it's all 33 and 34. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's approachable. Yeah,
Yep.
chemists might screw you up a little bit too, especially some of the solos. But some of the song, I mean, just brilliantly written, classic, like anthemic heavy metal, but like with a kind of a sad context, like just like weird, uplifting, gigantic songs, but also they're all a bummer.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm gonna check it out.
Sounds
Because
good.
again, it's on the list. It's been requested a ton.
They're
That's
good.
awesome.
This is a good one to. So like, here's another band that we know pretty well that are kind of on the come up. Spirit Adrift. Have you listened to them much? That's a band again that's like they took Metallica and then slowed it, and like their songs are all Metallica songs at half speed. So like easier to deconstruct, really interesting, cool songs. That's a good band that's blown up in the last few years.
So do you take requests not just for your lessons? Obviously, you teach lessons and people want to learn how to do things. But for your videos, are most of those by request?
Like Patreon
or do you
subscribers?
ever just like, you know what, I'm gonna just do this one?
No, I do. Sometimes I just do what I want to do because it's the most. It's to feel that inspiration and sit down and learn a song and watch all the video that I watch, like live videos, and trying to get it note for note perfect. And
I love that you do that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's part of I'm just obsessed with trying to do it right, for whatever that's worth. Maybe nothing, maybe something, but a lot of it is if I get a lot of requests for something, I will definitely go that way. And it doesn't just have to be the Patreon stuff. Like we do extra tabs and stuff on Patreon because it's all the tabs are done in Guitar Pro and really nicely done, and all again just accurate tuning, accurate positions. And guitar and bass and drums in the tabs, and I have people that help me with that these days. Yeah, I definitely let the audience, I want to do what people want to see done, because if it's just left to me, like, I don't know, I still love teaching Sabbath and Sleep and Electric Wizard and stuff that you see on the channel over and over and over because I just like it, and people like it too, But when I really I got into doing the Sunn thing, and when I saw people were loving the response to that, like I just kept kind of diving in, and it's just fun. It's ironic that like this band playing at like 12 beats per minute is like the most popular lessons on a guitar lesson channel. And I'm not even kidding. Like they literally are. And I think it's because just it's mysterious.
It's mysterious.
There's nothing like you can't find Sunn lessons. Like there's nothing out there in the world.
Yeah.
Teaching you anything about that. So unless it's a joke, like there's some jokes on YouTube, right? But like that's been cool. People just are interested,
Yeah, that's neat. Are outside of music, are you a big consumer of podcasts too? And because there's this like triangle of podcasts, Patreon, YouTube, kind of in different creative communities.
I listen to podcasts, but I'm mostly trying to learn business, I don't know anything about that stuff or didn't. So that's mostly what I'm listening to, is trying to get better at growing the brand.
Yep.
And so any podcasts I'm listening to, which are a lot at 2x speed,
just
of a lot of fast
information.
talking individuals already listening to them at 2x speed, and so I do listen to a lot of that. I don't really consume much music related like content, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not out there watching gear demos, and I'm not like I'm doing it all the time, right? So it's like I'm just doing it, and I watch maybe to see what people are doing and the approaches to things, but I'm not like trying to go watch a gear demo on a certain pedal or amp or anything like that.
I don't listen to music podcasts. There's just none that are as good.
Any podcast that I listen to is like comedy adjacent usually. So it's like comedy's the center of it, but then it'll like branch into something. And there are a couple that are music related, but mostly they're jokes.
Mostly jokes.
And then the music comes later. So. And is there like a Patreon creators community? People like sharing information about, working on Patreon and.
Yeah, there are. There's like a forum, like an old school kind of Patreon forum. And there's a Discord server and stuff, but by and large, I would bet the community of successful creators on Patreon is probably pretty small. And it's because there's a lot of people who just, like it's all about kind of building an audience first, right? Like you have to build a large audience to then create some kind of bonus content platform. Like it's a value exchange for me. I've run it as a membership.
You can't build your audience on Patreon.
No.
Right. It's going to be very difficult to build an audience on Patreon. So it's kind of like, I just thought it was a cool way to build the community and offer something a little more in depth and direct access to me. There's like, if you have questions, and I work with people one-on-one with that stuff, and we have a really cool Discord community and private Facebook group. And then, like I said, just a ton of extra content. So I do tabs, like I said, for every lesson on the channel. You can get guitar, bass, and drum tabs in Guitar Pro, like really well done. And so just people, and it's not, it's $5 a month or 10 or 15 or, whatever level you want to do. But that's been really cool. But yeah, I think a lot of the Patreon community in general is just people trying to start at zero and just make a Patreon.
And you got to bring an audience.
You've got to have an audience, and you've got to have something valuable to offer them. It can't just be hey, pay me to
to be me.
I'm always interested too. Like even Matt's, the last time I looked, still showed a patron count and a monthly payout. Like when the artists don't realize that people don't know that you can turn that on and off, or maybe they don't care. But you can see like even he doesn't have 10,000 patrons. Even somebody with Matt's reach has a pretty limited, like dedicated community who are so into him that they're going to give him a few bucks out of their however they divide up their entertainment money. There's a food one that I listen to called the Doughboys. That's again mostly comedy, but they also bag on chain restaurants. And fuck man, those guys have like 13,000 patrons. They're making like $100,000 a month, and because they, like fuck.
But a lot of these a lot of successful underground musicians could be doing the same thing Matt has done, but it's work, right? Like you got to put in the effort,
Yeah. Or Bob from Fu Manchu with the play this riff site. I mean, he's he's a good model too. Yeah, he's an OG.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me ask, because it sounds like you got your real job, and then you've got your passion.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're probably putting in more hours into the passion than the real job every week.
You don't admit that on the internet.
Based on like what you're doing so much. It's crazy.
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I stay up late, right? Like I do all the pillar content, like the YouTube video lesson stuff happens from 8 p.m. to 2 in the morning after the kids go to bed. I like sit down and I shoot. I usually just do the whole thing in one like grueling evening where I shoot and I like edit and I get it all done and I hit export, and I may even like go lay on the couch late and like do the thumbnail and just get it ready and then pop it on Patreon for a few days before we pop it public. But then the quick shit can happen whenever. Like I'm on TikTok, been really into doing the real style content, and that is really cool. If you're into it, I mean,
you were the first person, like I signed up for TikTok and it was like, here's somebody you might like. And I was like, yeah, it looks like it. So you were my very first follow on TikTok.
Awesome. And I struggled for a while figuring out how to create content on that platform that would resonate. Like I was like, maybe the audience isn't there. And I saw Matt Bacon on there starting to build an audience.
Oh, Matt.
he got but he started to build an audience, and
Yep.
I was like, okay, well, he's making it work, and you know, I kind of have just tried to figure it out, like, you know, and I've probably hit 15,000 followers this week or something, but it's been been a grind. It's been a but it's fast.
You found works best on TikTok in that short
So
format?
nobody wants to see me play guitar. It's like people want to see just talking is what's worked best for me. Like if I put up a video, a clips, even if I make it like contextual to the platform, like I sit here and play guitar, it doesn't do well. It's like I talk about my guitars or talk about pedals or just face to camera type stuff has worked well for me. You know, the questions.
Tell the first act story.
Yeah, I have. Probably 3 times. You know, but it does well. And also I've been like curating these old Sabbath related clips has been kind of cool, like of Tony talking about certain techniques or why he did this or that, and I just put that on there, and it's kind of cheating, but it's like, you know, I don't know, it's like the Starlix video from 1984. Like nobody's really gonna care.
Come on, like reblogging hasn't been a thing since the beginning of the internet.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. And of course Matt has a following. There's just a certain percentage of the population
Eventually he's going to get us all onto social media
that wants to watch a 13-year-old chomp on a cigar. He's gonna kill me.
Hey, Matt's done well.
We know him and we're buddies.
I love Matt.
No, I mean, we're just Drew and Ripple, but I feel like he does an amazing service for people. You know, the content he puts out there, I think, is like pretty on point with what he's telling people to do. Yeah, just most people don't do it.
Yeah, and there's
exactly.
there's just a lot of people that just don't understand even the most basic things. And if you could just listen to him for 5 minutes, you could just get farther than you've gotten in 6 months.
By far, if you binge watch his Bacon's Bits, you will learn what you need to do, whether you'll do it or not. I think he's giving good tips.
Yeah.
He just needs to get. Is he not yet in artist management?
Oh, he does it. He does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does some like artist management and promotion for well, I don't know if he's still working for Magnetic Eye and Prophecy because Prophecy got bought.
Yeah.
Definitely for Ripple. I mean, he's kind of like a go-to. He'll do whatever. Yeah. Like he'll like we worked with him to get connected with some people to talk about distribution, for record distribution. Like he just he's a connector.
The amount that he's done in the young age that he has reached is insane.
Oh no, so the first year we went to Psycho, he's obsessed with Sub Rosa, and JD and Andy Patterson are old friends, and so we were hanging out at the Circle Bar at the Hard Rock at like 3:00 in the morning. What time? It was late, and Matt came up and he was hammered, and Andy talked him into calling his parents.
His grandma.
Like while we were.
Hey, Matt, you should call your grandma. Call your grandma. You're drunk and you need.
And he did.
He did.
I think he would do anything Andy told him to do, though. He's in love. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, given what we just finished talking about, I really appreciate you carving out some time for us.
Yes. Holy cow.
We're not paying anybody. We're not. And and when I'll get your video up, lickety split.
Yeah, put that up on YouTube. Okay?
I'll get caught up. It's low production. Hey, I'm using VideoPad. I'm still using like the free shit. So
it's painful.
I know it's
painful.
It is painful. I have a full Adobe license. I just haven't taught myself how to use any of it other than Photoshop. So I'll get to Premiere one of these days.
I'd like to hire someone to do it, but I feel like hiring someone to like edit your guitar lesson videos is just hard.
Yeah.
Because like they have to know guitar and video editing and the song, and it's
almost like they'd have to sit there while you're recording and you give them like, all right, here, there.
Sounds painful. It sounds easier to just spend the 6 hours doing it myself.
Yeah, probably. Awesome. All right, man. Well, again,
Thanks,
totally
guys.
Appreciate you. Everybody go to, I assume you have doesitdoom.com.
Does It Doom on everything, yeah.
On everything.
Does It Doom.
Yeah.
Face, yep.
Not hard to find.
Not hard.
Honestly.
Not at all. Looking at this photo, wow, you're right. Everything changed.
Oh, wow.
Your beard is very black.
Yeah.
You have a hat on, so I can't see your hair.
Yeah.
You look like a totally
no
different
hair.
person.
It's very short.
That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, this has been great.
It's been
Thank
great.
you so much
Really
for
fun.
spending time. Don't put you, do him.
I'm going to put me wherever I want. All right.
Take care,
Catch you
man.
later, man.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right.
All right.
Another fucking hustler.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
He's such a good dude.
Absolutely.
So nice and so just, so humble and down to earth. I love it.
Doing a good service for the world, too.
Exactly. I mean, teaching people to doom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rad. Super cool.
All right. Well,
All right, what are you going to do now?
I'm going to go get in my car and go to Vasona and look at Christmas
Oh,
lights.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
The day never ends.
That's right.
Any
Christmas, everybody.
Any parting words? We will be recording an end of the year episode with John Carbone of Moontooth and
We're having him back.
and TBD.
TBD.
Oh wait, he put up. Maybe we can end with this. They've fucking posted the funny. They have a show coming up that they're like going overboard to promote
They're
for.
promoting the shit out of it.
When is it? Is this come out before that show?
I don't know.
Let's find. I'll find it because I'll throw that video up on here
That's what you should do.
as the exit.
I'll tell you what.
If this is coming,
you what.
if this is coming
Oh,
out.
there's a goop butt plug. That looks nice.
Excuse me.
That
What
was a
did
goop butt plug.
A goo. I thought you said there's a good butt plug.
There's a good butt plug right
Yeah.
there. That guy.
All right. Where did he fucking put
Goop.
this? Is this on
Not
Facebook?
on YouTube. I don't know, but this is. I love it.
You
Whoop.
vamp,
Whoop. 15
vamp,
seconds.
please.
15 seconds. I mean, if you have an iPhone, I don't know. Maybe it all works that way. The internet is broken tonight,
Oh, here we go.
and
Found
they're
it.
playing with Astronoid, who we've talked about on this
Yeah.
on this podcast as well. And I need a copy of that poster because it is fucking amazing.
Okay, they are playing this Thursday, December 16th. So this will not be out in time. So hey,
You missed.
you missed a killer. If you weren't at the Gramercy Theater, you missed a killer Moontooth show, and you should have been there. So fuck you. And
That's
with
right.
that, on
And
that,
with that,
on that happy note,
blind
No.
submissions, blind
But-
submissions. Again.
I will go on this though. They dropped a new song. Moontooth did.
Fucking incredible.
It's fucking great. If you haven't listened to it, what's wrong with you?
Mhm.
And we're gonna play the video here to wrap things up.
There you go.
And we will see you
The
next time.
Conduit,
The Conduit.
and you will be hearing from John in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. And here we go.
So I've got my essay written,
Ads.
and I've been working on
I
it for
love
about
it.
a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly.
How do you use Grammarly?
Fuck you.
I do not. Ooh, that's a frenetic background breakdown.
Pedals. That's all pedals. Metric modulation, JD. Can you hear it?
gonna steal all the gold and piss on you now?
Commercial.
What is going on with that? We'll find out in 2 weeks.
YouTube commercials, you can fucking die.
I love commercials.
No, it's actually a song about their past interactions with record labels and how they wanted to give them shitty deals and screw them over. And Moontooth said, "Nah, we'll just do it. We'll just go our own way.
We'll just do this."
So that's what it is.
Does Pure Noise run by one of them?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't know though.
They must be a good label then.
Yeah, I mean, I looked through the band roster and it's pretty diverse. There were a couple of fairly big names on there, but it looked like kind of like a Baby Sargent House. It was a little bit all over the place.
A Baby Sargent House. I like that. That's cute.
All right, everybody. Well, that was the latest episode of Blynd Submyshynz.
That was my chipmunk at 2.5 speed.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for another week of Blynd Submyshynz. See episode description for the links to all artists discussed in this episode, and visit their sites to support them directly by buying their music and merch. Share links to the podcast with your friends, especially if they're in bands. Bands! If you want us to listen to your music on a future episode, please submit one song to blyndSub@gmail.com. That's BLYND sub@gmail.com. Bandcamp's linked preferred, but not required. Find us on our social media at Blynd Submyshynz. Full video episodes are available on our YouTube. Remember, we go in blind so you don't have to. Blynd Submyshynz.
It's Blynd Submyshynz with Jeff and JD, Jeff and JD, JD and Jeff, JD and Jeff. Blynd Submyshynz with Jeff and JD, Jeff and JD, JD and Jeff, JD and Jeff.